Hello and welcome to the Common Corrective Action webinar. My name is Claudia Vincent and I am the Nutrition Program Specialist for the Northeastern region of Missouri. Today we will cover common corrective actions from administrative reviews. What are corrective actions? Corrective actions are any violations of child nutrition programs, including the National School Lunch Program, the School Breakfast Program, Afterschool Snack, and Special Milk Program, made by the School Food Authority that are found by the state agency during the SFA's administrative review. Corrective actions are completed by the SFA after the on-site portion of the administrative review is completed and the SFA receives a review letter from the SA. The SFA has 30 days to complete corrective actions. After the corrective actions are approved by the SA, the administrative review is then closed. I will break down the common corrective actions for each series of questions in the administrative review. 100 Series, Certification and Benefit Issuance. The district-wide process of certification and benefit issuance covers the certification of a student's eligibility for free and reduced price meals. Corrective action is district-wide. On the left, you'll see the common corrective action question, and on the right, you will see how to answer that corrective action and resources for training. Question 105. How long does the application's approval take from the date the SFA receives the application from the household? So, for example, the SFA is not date stamping applications upon receipt from households. The SFA must provide written assurance explaining that applications will be date stamped upon receipt and that applications will be approved within 10 operating days. The determining official is encouraged to take and provide a certificate upon completion of the e-learning module Serving with Success, Certification and Benefit Issuance, found at the DESE website linked below. Question 126A, Certification and Benefit Issuance Review Method. In this case, the application is missing the following information: child or household information, the last 4 digits of the adult's Social Security number, the case number, which could be SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR, the adult's signature, or income amount or source. Fiscal action is taken for the following errors: miscategorized applications, benefit issuance errors, failure to update a change in status resulting from verification, and missing information, which excludes applications that do not report zero income. Please note if an application is missing the last 4 Social Security digits and/or an adult signature, fiscal action is not required if it is fixed within a specified time frame. The SFA must send out letters to the household explaining the change in eligibility and the household's ability to appeal and/or give a new application which includes the missing information. Here we have a sample application for free and reduced price meals. Notice the essential highlighted areas: the date the application is received by the school, the child's information, the adult's information and income, the last 4 digits of the Social Security number of the adult completing the application, or the boxes checked if there is no Social Security number, and the adult's signature. Question 128A. Are the correct conversion factors used in processing applications that indicate more than one income frequency? So in this case, the correct conversion factors were not used to process applications. The school annualized income when it should have been determined at its stated frequency. The SFA must utilize the provided USDA conversion equations to calculate the total annual household income on free and reduced meal applications when 2 or more different frequencies are recorded. According to USDA regulations, it is required to convert all different income frequencies recorded on the free and reduced meal applications to annual using the provided equations below. Please see the highlighted section on the free and reduced application. The determining official will complete, sign, and date the bottom portion. Question 201. Who serves as the SFA's verifying official? Name and/or position, title, or software used is acceptable. The determining, confirming, and hearing officials must be 3 individuals. The hearing official cannot be involved in the decision under appeal, so they cannot be the same person as the determining or confirming official. The SFA must appoint 3 separate individuals to carry out the following titles and responsibilities. The first is the determining official. This is the individual who reviews applications. Then we have the confirming official. This individual confirms the original approval of benefits made by the determining official are correct during the confirmation review. A Student Information System, or SIS, may perform these duties with approval from the state agency. And then we have the hearing official. This is an individual, usually the superintendent or a board member, who hears appeals. The SFA is encouraged to take and provide a certificate upon completion of the e-learning module Serving with Success verification training found at the DESE website at the link below. Question 203. Describe the SFA's verification process, including the SFA's verification for cause process, deadlines, due dates, selection procedures, etc. The SFA may find further guidance on the verification at the link below. Here is an example of an SFA's verification process. 1. On September 24th, the SFA uses the verification guide to determine number of applications needed to verify. 2. The applications are randomly selected and a confirmation review takes place. 3. On October 1st, letters are sent out to the households that are being verified. The households have until October 15th to contact the SFA with documentation. If the SFA does not hear from the families by the mid-October deadline, letters and phone call attempts are made. 4. The verification report is completed by November 15th. And 5. The verification report is submitted to DESE by December 15th. We'll move on to the 300 series, Meal Counting and Claiming. Monitoring meal counting and claiming ensures the SFA is submitting an accurate monthly claim by counting free, reduced, and full-price reimbursable meals. Corrective action must take place for the following errors. The SFA's meal counting system does not count students' eligibility by category. The SFA does not have a backup system for counting and claiming, such as a roster may be used if the student information system is down. The system does not administer edit checks. The SFA's policies for incomplete meals, second meals, visiting student meals, adult and non-student meals, modified meals that do not meet the meal pattern for students with disabilities, a la carte items, field trips, or prepaid meals. The SFA's point of service, or POS, does not yield appropriate counts. And finally, cashiers are not trained. Question 305H. What are the SFA's meal counting and claiming policies and procedures for field trips? Meal counts cannot be taken from attendance numbers. The SFA must check off students from a roster after they receive their reimbursable SAC lunch. The SFA is required to provide written assurance that field trip rosters will be checked off as students receive their reimbursable meal. Question 306. What procedures are used as internal controls to ensure the meal counts do not exceed enrollment or attendance adjusted enrollment? The SFA must complete daily edit checks for each meal service. Edit checks make sure the following errors do not occur, which will result in fiscal action. Meal counts not matching the number of reimbursable meals sold to students with free, reduced, and paid status. Meal counts exceed the number of eligible students by category. And non-reimbursable meals, such as second entrees and a la carte items, are counted. Again, the SFA is encouraged to take and provide a certificate upon completion of the e-learning module Serving with Success, Meal Counting and Claiming training found below. Question 318. At the selected schools, does each type of meal service line, as observed on the day of review, provide an accurate count by eligibility category at the point of service? The point of service must provide an accurate meal count by eligibility status. Students must be entered into the POS system after they receive their tray. This ensures a reimbursable meal is obtained and properly recorded as such. We'll move on to the Meal Components and Quantities 400 series. Monitoring meal components and quantities ensures the SFA is serving reimbursable meals with all components are correct quantities for each grade group for the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. Corrective action must take place for the following errors. Meal requirements are not met. The SFA is serving meals with missing components. Vegetable subgroups are not met. Errors in milk type or options offered. Whole grain rich requirements are not met. Violations that will result in fiscal action are missing components and repeat violations for milk variety and vegetable subgroup errors. Question 404A. Is there signage explaining what constitutes a reimbursable breakfast and lunch to students for all applicable age groups? Signage must be posted near or at the beginning of the serving line, identifying what constitutes a reimbursable meal for breakfast and lunch, including the requirement for students to select at least a half cup of fruit or vegetable if the building is offer versus serve. Question 410A. Do planned menu quantities meet meal pattern requirements for the review period for breakfast or lunch? Menu quantities must meet the requirements for each grade group. Appropriate meal patterns for breakfast are K through 12, or K through 8 and 9 through 12, or K through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. Appropriate meal patterns for lunch are K through 8, 9 through 12, or K through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. To respond to this corrective action, the SFA must provide written assurance explaining how the errors will be corrected for missing meal components and meal requirements not met. This may be shown in corrected production records for the week of review or day of review. The SFA is encouraged to take and provide a certificate upon completion of the e-learning module Serving with Success, Meal Components for Breakfast and Lunch training at the link below. We'll move on to the 700 series, Maintenance of the Nonprofit School Food Service Account. Risk assessment for resource management covers program compliance of the maintenance of the nonprofit school food service account to ensure funds are used to improve the food service program. Question 703. Excluding the purchase of equipment using equipment grant funds, if the SFA used food service funds to buy equipment during the school year under review, did it receive prior approval from the state agency? Allowable costs are reviewed to ensure the use of funds benefit the students by being reasonable, necessary, and allocable. For the equipment purchase review, approval must be obtained by the state agency before a purchase of $1,000 or more is made by the SFA. Equipment found on the school nutrition program pre-approved list are exempt from receiving approval from the SA. Please note that the current and previous school year are reviewed. Here is a snapshot of the equipment on the school nutrition pre-approved list found on the DESE website. We'll move on to the Paid Lunch Equity tool in the 700 series. Per USDA requirements, the SFA must complete the Paid Lunch Equity tool annually to ensure sufficient funds are provided to the nonprofit food service account. Question 706. Did the SFA use the USDA Paid Lunch Equity tool or a comparable mechanism to evaluate its need to raise its paid lunch prices? For pricing LEAs, the PLE tool must be completed to ensure the SFA's weighted average price is met or exceeded. The SFA may either increase student paid lunch prices or make a transfer of non-federal funds into the nonprofit school food service account to cover costs. If the school decides to make a transfer of non-federal funds, acceptable documentation may include an entry in the ledger or cash check to food service, board minutes approving the transfer, a letter signed by the superintendent that the transfer will be made on school letterhead, with a financial report adjustment to balance, with the reason being PLE specified in the comments. Here is a simplified example of the PLE tool. You will see that the required price increase is 7 cents, and the school needs to meet that requirement by raising prices. The school has chosen to raise prices by 10 cents to at least meet the required price of $1.30. Please note, this question may be satisfactorily completed if the SFA has received a PLE exemption. The SFA may complete a PLE request for exemption form and send it to the state agency if the nonprofit school food service account has a positive or zero balance as of December 31st. We'll move on to the revenue from non-program foods, adult lunch prices in the 700 series. In pricing LEAs, the USDA requires adult meals are assessed to ensure the price covers the overall cost of lunch, including the value of donated foods and paid lunch reimbursement rates. In non-pricing LEAs, the USDA requires adult lunch prices to cover the free reimbursement plus the value of donated foods. Question 710. If the SFA provided adult meals for teachers and/or parents, did it obtain full payment from the adults receiving the meals and/or recover the cost of those meals by some other means, such as a general funds transfer? There are a few options for pricing LEAs. First, and the recommended option, is the highest paid student lunch price, which must be in compliance with the PLE tool, plus value of donated foods, plus paid lunch reimbursement. Please note that value of donated foods and paid lunch reimbursement rates do change annually, and you can find these changes under the DESE website. The second option is free student reimbursement plus the value of donated foods. The third option, actual meal cost, and this includes food, labor, supplies, etc., plus the value of donated foods. And finally, if the LEA has a fixed price contract with a food service management company and is credited back the full value of donated foods, including adult meals, then the LEA can charge the fixed price adult lunch amount. If the SFA did not charge adults the required amount to cover costs, then the SFA must either raise adult lunch prices immediately or make a transfer of non-federal funds at the end of the school year. SFAs who choose to make a transfer of non-federal funds with an adjustment to balance in the financial report and explanation in the comments section must multiply the total number of adult lunches by the difference in cost. So, for example, the SFA is incorrectly charging $1.50 for adult lunches when the required adult lunch price is $3.25. The difference of $1.75 is multiplied by the total number of adult lunches served that school year. This means a transfer of $875 must be made. If the school decides to make a transfer of non-federal funds, acceptable documentation may include an entry in the ledger or cash check to food service, board meeting minutes approving the transfer, a letter signed by the superintendent that the transfer will be made on school letterhead, again with the financial report adjustment to balance with the reason being adult lunch prices specified in the comments. #800 Series, Civil Rights. Assessment of the Civil Rights Series is to ensure the SFA is in compliance with the Child Nutrition Program's requirements. This is a general area of monitoring, and fiscal action is not applicable. The SFA is required to complete civil rights training annually, found at the link below. Please take note that there will be new civil rights posters handed out soon. Question 800. What non-discrimination statement is used for program materials? To the right of your screen, you will see the complete USDA non-discrimination statement. The USDA requires the full non-discrimination statement must be on all printed and web-based materials referencing child nutrition programs, including outreach material when notifying potentially eligible participants on how to apply for benefits or file a complaint, including but not limited to notice of approval or denial, extending categorical eligibility to additional children in a household, and public release. You can find templates for outreach material at the link below. Please note that the SFA's meal charge policy is in the student handbook, then the non-discrimination statement must be directly under the policy. If the material is too small to print the entire statement, such as school menus, the material must have the following statement: this institution is an equal opportunity provider. Question 801. Did the School Food Authority publish a public release as required for the school year being reviewed? The SFA must publish a public release annually, which provides information on free and reduced meals. The public release should be provided to the local news media, on the district website, or in other publicly viewed areas. Here you will see an example of the public release template found on the DESE website. The public release must include the following information: free and reduced price income eligibility guidelines. Once known to the LEA, households will be notified of students' eligibility for free meals for households receiving the following assistance: SNAP, FDBIR, TANF, and any child's eligibility for free meals based as other source categorically eligible, such as homeless and foster. No further application is required for free meal benefits if the household was notified by the LEA that all students in the household were directly certified, and a student in the household receiving benefits from an assistance program extends free benefits to other students in the household. #900 Series, SFA On-Site Monitoring. Question 900. Was the on-site monitoring of the counting and claiming procedure completed prior to February 1st? The on-site monitoring form must be completed by SFAs with more than one building operating the National School Lunch Program and/or School Breakfast Program. The on-site review monitors lunch and breakfast counting and claiming, as well as general areas of the meal service. A minimum of 50% of buildings operating school breakfast program must be monitored once every 2 years. On-site reviews must be completed annually by February 1st, and the on-site monitoring form may be found at the website below. We'll move on to the Local School Wellness Policy and the Thousands Series. Question 1005. Please provide a copy of the most recent assessment on the implementation of the Local School Wellness Policy. The Local School Wellness Policy must be assessed triennially. The assessment is due for all SFAs in school year 1920. The assessment must include the following information: the extent to which schools are in compliance with the Local School Wellness Policy, the progress made towards attaining the goals of the Local School Wellness Policy, and the extent to which the Local School Wellness Policy compares to a model Local School Wellness Policy. The assessment must be available to the public and posted in a public place at the SFA's discretion. This is usually the district website. Here you will see an example of a Local School Wellness Policy assessment. (1100) Series, Smart Snacks in School. Question 1105. Do foods and beverages sold to students during the school day, defined as 12 a.m. on a day of instruction to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day, including a la carte foods and beverages sold during meal services, meet Smart Snack standards? Beverages sold must meet the following requirements for the youngest grade group with access. Grades K through 5 can have milk and milk substitutions, 100% juice and water. All beverages, except for water, must be caffeine-free and 8 ounces or less. Grades 6 through 8 can have milk and milk substitutions, 100% juice and water. All beverages, except for water, must be caffeine-free and 12 ounces or less. Grades 9 through 12 can have milk and milk substitutions, 100% juice, water, and calorie-free beverages. Beverages may contain caffeine, and juice and milk must be 12 ounces or less, and calorie-free beverages must be 20 ounces or less. Vending machines must have Smart Snack compliant advertising. If turned on during the school day, it must have Smart Snack compliant food and beverages. The SFA may check items for Smart Snack compliance using the Smart Snack calculator found at the link below. We'll move on to the professional standards in the 1200 series. Training requirements. The SA will look for SFA records of annual training completed by the food service directors, managers, and staff. Food service directors require 12 hours of annual training. However, if the SFA does not have a director, the manager must complete 12 hours. Managers require 10 hours of training in buildings where there is a food service director. Full-time staff require 6 hours of annual training, and part-time staff and non-food service staff require 4 hours. Appropriate training documentation includes certificates, sign-in sheets, and a training tracker. Training must be completed by the end of the school year. Training must also be job-specific, and it can be completed online or in person. Question 1217A. Please describe the frequency in which training hours are being tracked. The SFA is required to keep a training tracking tool that must include the following fields: employee name, hiring date, employee position, required hours of training, training title or subject, learning topics, training date, length of training, school year training applied to, completed training hours year to date. The SFA may use the USDA training tracker or create their own. Training may be logged as completed into the training tracker throughout the school year. Here is an example of a training tracker and all of the required fields. For example, we have Joe Smith, who was hired June 10th, 2013 as a food service director. He needs 12 hours of training. The training subject was civil rights. The training date was August 15th, 2019. Learning topic was human resources and staff training for 1 hour of creditable time for school year 1920, and he's completed 1 hour of training to date. Here are some resources for training and creditable time for Serving with Success e-learning modules found on the DESE website to the left of the screen. Training is provided by DESE in person through summer workshops, DESE online through e-learning modules Serving with Success and webinars such as these, the Institute of Child Nutrition, the School Nutrition Association webinars and e-learning, and below you can find the DESE e-learning module CEU breakdown and professional standards training topics with codes at the links below. We'll move on to the 1400 series by American provision. Question 1403A. Did a review of agriculture food components indicate violations of the Buy American provision either during review of products on site at reviewed schools or at off-site storage facilities as applicable? The USDA requires the SFA to purchase at least 51% of agricultural commodities produced and processed in the USA. Limited exceptions to the Buy American provision allow for the purchase of non-domestic items when it is not practical. The exceptions must be documented by the SFA and kept on file. Exceptions include: the product is not produced or manufactured in the U.S. in sufficient and reasonable available quantities of a satisfactory quality, or competitive bids reveal the cost of a U.S. product are significantly higher than the non-domestic product. Here is an example of the Buy American documentation worksheet that must be completed with the date the item was received, the food item description, the country of origin, and justification. We'll move on to the After-School Snack Service Program in the 1700 series. If the SFA operates the After-School Snack Service Program and the site selected for an administrative review, the program must be reviewed by the state agency for the following: verify site eligibility. The SFA must have an approved after-school program that offers educational activities. Area eligible. The site is located in an area where at least 50% of the students are approved for free or reduced meals, where snacks are free to all students and reimbursed at the free rate. Or the site may be non-area eligible, where snacks are served at free, reduced, and paid prices based on their approved eligibility. The site must have accurate counting and claiming procedures. Snacks must meet nutritional requirements. Production records are completed. Self-monitoring is completed twice annually, and food safety and civil rights requirements are met. Fiscal action is required if the school claims snacks for adults or ineligible students, or if claimed snacks are missing a component. Question 1707A. Has the program been monitored within the first 4 weeks of operation each year? The SFA must complete 2 on-site monitoring reviews. The first must be within the first 4 weeks of operation, and the second must be completed before the end of the school year. The After-School Snack Program review may be found at the link below. This is the After-School Snack Program production record template. At least 2 of the 4 components, such as milk, meat, meat alternate, fruit, vegetable, or 100% juice and grains, must be served according to the quantities for each grade group. Here we have the meal pattern for each grade group for the after-school snack program. This concludes the webinar on common corrective actions. If your question wasn't answered today or you need more information, please contact us at 573-751-3526 or send an email to schoolfoods@desi.mo.gov. Thank you.